Paintball nerd.
Today's guest on Paintball Nerds Fun 5 interview started playing paintball in 2005. In 2018, he joined Seattle Thunder and went pro in the United States. In 2020, he joined Infamous, and for 2023, he has joined Dynasty. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show, Harrison Frye.
What's up? What's up?
Yeah,
glad to be here.
What's new and exciting?
Just being a paintball nerd out here as normal. So I figured it's perfect, synergy to come on the show. And thank you for the invitation.
Absolutely, man. Thanks for doing this. So tell us about the move to Dynasty.
Well, I was in Bali a few weeks ago and on a little vacation, journey here. I've been going to like Asia every year at the end of the year except for COVID and the year after COVID for the past, I don't know how many years. That's actually where it's very funny. That's where I was when I got approached by Corey Field of Seattle Thunder to move. And I was in Asia too when I got approached by Travis Lemansky to go to Infamous. So again, Bali, Asia, seems like the land of transition.
So maybe Dynasty wants to keep you out of there for a couple of years.
Yeah, right. Yeah, right. That's a good point. Yeah. No, you're not going to Asia this year. I got approached by a few of the Dynasty guys, and they asked me would I be interested in going on. A lot went through my head. Best team in the world's asking me to join them. That obviously is very nice. It's always nice to be wanted. Leaving behind a lot. What we built at Infamous, what Travis has done for the brand, for the team, for myself as well. He's done a lot for me. So it was actually like a kind of like a 5-day ordeal of like me going back and forth emotionally, mentally. I called a few people in the sport that I confided in, had some confidential conversations with. Then called Travis, told him, hey, this is where my head's at. Went back and forth with him a few days. Leaving him or hurting him and hurting Infamous was like a real big thing on my mind, and like something that I didn't want to do. I didn't want to hurt any of my teammates or bring any bad energy there.
Sure.
And also to the brand and to the team. My heart was very filled with emotions those few days.
I bet.
But in the end, it was just I couldn't get away from it. Like it was just nagging at me that I need to make this move for myself. It's obviously an amazing opportunity. Get to play alongside some of the best, and the history of the past few years has been very, very amazing. They've knocked me out personally, knocked Infamous out of tournaments before. We actually got second place to them 2 years ago as Infamous. We lost the Dynasty, so that's always a something nagging on my mind. And as a younger player to the pro scene, I haven't had a win yet, and I've only been in the league for 5 years. So anything that's gonna, not anything, but something that's gonna really make myself better, make myself evolve as a player, as a person, is an attractive thing to me, and is always something that I'm interested in. In the end, it wasn't about money or fame or anything else. It's actually about like a big challenge. Actually, I think that it's going to be to go over there that I'm facing, because they're look at the roster now, look at their history and who they've won with. That's a huge battle that I have to fight up, just to see the field, and that's and then make an impact on the of the tournament and in the finals. That's my intention to contribute to more wins.
Yeah.
and that's as a competitor, that's a huge challenge, and I'm really excited for it. So I've been doing a lot of preparation the past few days, past few weeks, mental preparation, and I'm really excited for this event, the upcoming season, and my future on Dynasty.
Well, Harrison, I don't know many players that would turn down an opportunity like joining Dynasty. They are the winning team right now, and they got a lot of awesome players on that team, great teammates. But the fact that you kind of went through a little bit of emotional turmoil on that decision just shows your character, man. It sounds like you're a committed guy, and in leaving Infamous is something that you struggled with because I think you know what you contributed to that organization. I think you know that you made an impact on that team, and therefore leaving that team was going to make a big impact on them as well. But I think it's the right move. I think that you're going to contribute on Dynasty as well. You're going to have a big impact on that organization, and you're fulfilling a need that they certainly have. But who would you say you're really going to miss playing with on Infamous?
Everybody. I mean, I like our core. It's now been 3 years with them, and not just X Ball, 10-man too. So, Callie, Brett Messer, Ryan Hall, Zach Patient, Jonah, Cody already left, so I can't mention him. Just that's a joke. Tim Russellback, Joey B. He just joined the team, and I'm leaving him, which was also a big factor. He's one of my best friends. What else? Who else? Who am I missing? I'm sorry.
Travis.
Of course,
More
Travis.
Coach, though, right?
No, I've already mentioned him. That was like
Thomas.
Thomas. Oh my God, Thomas. Sorry, Thomas. Of course. Tim, and we just picked up Benny, who's my other buddy. Done some world travels with him.
Well, if you missed anyone, for the record, I'm putting him on the spot right now, so it's kind of hard to do that sometimes. Yeah, but
from a coaching player standpoint, Travis and I we had a lot of. I think we really understand each other very well, like as a player coach role, and then as friends as well.
Yeah.
So that's hard to leave behind too, because he knows my strengths and weaknesses, and plays me and the team around those, as well as any player on the team on Infamous. So it's now another battle and another task to learn the new players around me, and the new coach and SK who I know before, but it's all about building trust and time on the field and off the field and everything. So
yeah. Well, I mean, you mentioned there's not really a financial incentive involved with joining Dynasty, but there's certainly going to be an impact to your finances, I'd say, from joining the team, because exposure, right? I feel like you'll have a greater deal of exposure, which could lead to a financial impact. But I haven't said that. I thought your stock is going up now, just by joining the team. So, dude, I do think I can kind of hear it in your voice a little bit. You still have a little bit of emotional distress here from leaving Infamous, but I know that you made the right decision.
Yeah, I mean, from a financial standpoint, I actually turned down more money to go over to Dynasty. I'm still gaining a whole lot financially as well from Dynasty, but it was a not financial decision. It was actually turning down. But that's not why I do this. I don't do this for money. I do this to be the best I can be. And I, have built my life in other ways to be able to make decisions in paintball that don't have a massive impact on my personal finances.
Gotcha.
Obviously, there's certain situations that it could, but yeah, I have other sources of income which I've grown over the years. I mean, I'm 31 years old and have that figured out too. So,
Is Dynasty planning any more pickups?
not that I know of. I'm the new guy, so I'm not in those conversations. So, uh, no information here.
Okay. Well, Harrison, what ways do you see yourself impacting the dynamic of Dynasty?
I think so. From talking with everybody on the team, like they really like my ability to kind of play anywhere. So anywhere that I can get to easily and have kind of a go and shoot a few guys. That's what I want to do mostly. That's my strengths, and that's what I feel that how I can help the team the best. Especially initially. I mean, that's like kind of the easiest thing to come into, and then build up more and more. Different roles too. But there's a lot of weapons on the field that Dynasty has that we have, and I hope to just be one option on there for SK. So,
is there anyone on the team that you're particularly looking forward to playing with?
They already asked me this, and I had to answer Alex Reggie by default. No,
Yeah.
I mean I've played with a whole bunch of actually everybody except for Alex, Irina. I've not played with Sheer either, and I've never played with Yosh. I've played against Yosh, so I'm always looking forward to playing with new guys. But yeah, I played with Marcelo, with Ryan, Blake. Who else am I missing? Arturo I've played with. Damien I've played with. Yeah.
Right on. Well, Harrison, I know you travel the world, but is that something that is like a separate thing, Harrison Frye Ventures? Is that do those travels come outside of paintball?
So in the beginning, they were all, I mean, yes and no, right? So kind of how I started the ventures, the Frye Ventures was a lot of it was, I get an opportunity to go play in Asia or in South America or something. And I mean, I'm not just going to book a flight, there and back without staying a few extra days, right? So,
Some people do.
yeah, I'm not a good employee, so that's not a factor. Um, so I would get these opportunities to go down, and I would extend my trip a few days, and then go on some Frye Ventures. Um, as I'm maturing, and I've been to a lot of these places before. It's not as interesting to me to do it extra days, but maybe go to a different place. Or I do have a business outside of paintball, so I'm actually spending a lot more time running that.
What do you
Which
do?
is kind of boring, but in this conversation, it's boring. But um, I have a Web3 company, so we're a financial company. We do merger and acquisition in Web3. So yeah.
Well,
It's a whole
I
different
think,
world. It's a whole different ballgame.
yeah,
And I
completely
go to a
different
lot of
ball game.
conferences and yeah, a lot of
But I think it's important
conferences.
to know, like people can understand how you fund your dream,
Yeah. That doesn't really fund it. That's like just my I mean that's what I do outside of paintball basically. Like I do that. I do paintball, workout, and Web3. That's what
Gotcha.
I do. Yeah.
Well, I mean, over the years, you've accumulated a lot of memories. So
Mm.
paintball specifically, what would you say is a memory that really stands out for you?
I've got two that come to mind. Um, One is the memory 2 years ago of losing World Cup and losing
Mm,
the year actually against Dynasty, and it was Greg's last tournament, his last point actually ever played on in the NXL professional division. Greg Sewers, and I remember we were down a point with what I don't know 30 seconds or something against Dynasty. and whoever won this was going to win the series and move on to finals. And I shot a guy off break, went through, bunkered Blake out of the center, and then like I didn't think I was going to stay alive, so I like ran into their bunker, and my face was just fully covered in paint from the
From
back
rough.
side of the bunker, from like our paint shooting at it.
Yeah.
And I remember like, oh, I'm still alive. And then I see Marcelo in the Dorito one. I missed him because I, couldn't really see. And he's wily. And then I'm like, there's got to be like 10 seconds left. I don't know what's going on at all. I know there's 2 guys dead because I shot 2 of them, and I don't know anything else. And I just have to go. You can't stop. And I just ran at Ryan Greenspan in the back center, and I think I traded with him. I got shot a whole lot, and then the buzzer went off, and I had dropped to the ground, and like hear them cheering because they had just won the series, and I'm just like sitting there like, oh, fuck, we just lost.
Man.
And then I get a tap on my shoulder, and someone saying, "Get up, never let him see you bleed." And that was Greg Sewers. Last thing he said to me on the pro field. So that was cool. It was a good lesson, good thing. But yeah, never let him see you bleed.
That's a good one, dude. Thanks for sharing.
Yeah, that's one. The other one's cool too. This is when I was semi-pro with New York Extreme. Actually, we had a different name. We were the New York Outlaws. But I had gotten a message from one of my friends that said, "Hey, come to Ecuador like this weekend for a tournament." And I had a job. I was actually running a prototyping lab. I was an engineer at my school. And I was like, "Ugh, that's going to be hard to get off work." And so I looked up the flights, and I was negotiating with the Jefe down there, Augustine, my friend now. And I was like, there was a flight that was perfect. It would have left like Friday at, 6:00, and then gotten in Monday, would have red-eyed, Monday at like 8 a.m., arrived to Boston, take the train back to my school, and like be there, for 9 a.m., like totally not slept, but, I was there.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm just going to book this, because he was like going to sleep. The hours were weird. I was like, I'm just going to book this right now. And, usually you can cancel your flight 7 days or up to 24. Was up to 7? Was it? After booking, you have 24 hours to cancel, usually.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I like booked it, and then come to find out, he's like, "Oh, I only have half the money to pay your flight." And I'm like, "Oh God, all right, well, it's off. I'm going to cancel the flight." Well, I couldn't cancel the flight because it was 7 days before travel, and you can't do that. So I screwed that up. And I was like, well, it's either I pay half the money myself, or I lose all the money basically. So
You're right.
all right, I'm gonna go to Ecuador. So I went to Ecuador, didn't know anything, like got picked up by like, at midnight on Friday night by some random dude, slept in some random bed. I didn't know what it was. Got there in the next morning, like to the field, and didn't know anybody, and like 2 dudes show up like, "Hey, we're your teammates." Like, all right, cool. This is in Quito, Ecuador. There's like the field, and there's a big river there, really beautiful paintball park. And then I look over, and there's Mishka, Sergey, and Fedorov like all standing over there like, "Oh, that's not going to help my chances of winning down here." So they're playing. There's basically like 6 teams. 3 of them are each on one different team, and I'm on one team. And my team was like the worst team in the league. We never won anything, always getting penalties, the whole deal. And And it was crazy. It was exactly like that. We would win a point, and they were like, "Ah!" And then we would lose a point, and they were like, "Ah!" And I was like, "Oh god, this is gonna be tough." So and again, I'm semi-pro. I'm like wide-eyed at Fedorov and Mishkin and Sergey, and um, I just like brought these guys together. I was like, "Hey, we're a team." I spoke a little Spanish. I was like, just breathe after every point. We did like a breath thing. We were breathing together. Da, da. Squeaked into Sunday. And I was like, we're not going to win this tournament. There's no way. So I got invited to this, like that night I got invited to this party.
Oh no.
It's kind of a long story. Sorry. I got invited to this party, and literally it was like out of a rap movie, like cars lining the driveway.
Yes.
Girls and dudes everywhere. They gave me a fake name to use at the door, which like ended up not being cool. There's dudes with guns at the door, like not the door, the gate to get into the mansion party.
Jeez.
And so I'm like, all right, screw this. So I went over and I found like a hole in the fence, and we just went under it, and now we're like popped up in the in the mansion party. So we went all night. It was like, whatever you can imagine the details.
Sure.
Ended up like getting to the field the next day. Didn't sleep at all.
Oh my gosh.
And I didn't think we were even gonna play the next day because we'd done so bad. But somehow we squeaked in, and ended up winning the event basically.
What?
And that was like
was Fedorov and those guys at the same party?
Yeah, no, this was like local party. Against Fedorov in the finals, we won the event, and that was like the first time like, whoa, I just caught like, and they were on Houston Heat at the time. Like I just caught like the three highest profile players pretty much in the world. Like I caught them all and beat them all.
Dude,
in different situations. And
that's
that was
awesome
like,
story.
well, I'm a semi-pro random kid, and of course now I get invited to Ecuador all the time. Because of that. But you got to put yourself out there, and sometimes But it was totally a team win. It wasn't like obviously I played good, but it was more bringing the team together of like random guys that were just get penalties, the whole thing. Bring them together, like
rough.
focus on the goal, like and I was like running on no sleep too. So, and then I left the country like a few hours later, left the country, arrived back to work, didn't sleep, the whole deal.
That's a good one, dude. That's a great story.
That's a good one.
Well, you mentioned some players there, and I could tell that you have a soft spot in your heart for Greg Sewers. Do you have a favorite teammate?
Ooh. Greg was a really good teammate. Very good teammate. And I got to play next to him all year. I learned a lot from him. He's one of those dudes that like he'll be sliding into his bunker like off the break, and he'll tell you like back center's my way or back right or whatever.
Sliding. Yeah.
While like moving and shoot like so, and I'll be head down sliding, and I'll hear him say whatever the bunker is, 3-1. And I'm like, okay, I already know what it is. And it just like those little like chirps were really huge for they taught me a lot, and they were huge for the success of us that year. So
how about
losing him definitely hurt.
Yeah, well, he'll be back, dude. He'll be back in 10-man or something. He'll be back. How about favorite player to watch? Do you have one of those?
Favorite player to watch. Seeing Oliver come back was pretty cool.
That was cool.
Fedorov is very like he's very flowy. He's cool to watch because he's like I think he did dancing as a kid. No, really like yeah. So he learned like how to move his body like very flowy. So that's like it's cool to watch. Ronnie's really really small, and he's hard to shoot. Like playing against him is tough because he's so small and hard to shoot, and he's really tight with his movements. Lasoya is fun to watch.
Yeah, he'll always be fun to watch.
Yeah.
How about do you have a paintball Do you have a most cherished paintball item, whether it be a jersey or headband or anything like that?
I have like my old headband from when I was a kid. It's not a cool one. It's like a Burberry random one.
But it's important.
It's important. I have a pot of paint. It's like half a pot of paint from my first ever national win, and that's
That's cool.
I still have that. Yeah, I like roll it around every once in a while so it doesn't so they don't get fucked. I feel like this paint's still good. I feel like I could shoot it. It's still good.
You should try bringing it out to a World Cup game.
Yeah,
Just put it in your hopper for off the break.
that's a good story too.
So, Harrison, what does it take to get to the top, bud? What does it take to get to the top of paintball?
There's a few things. There's things you can't control, like who your immediate network is around. That does play a major role. It's not something that you can't overcome. Like I've proven, because I was like, I mean, I had a lot of people help me, over my career. But I got into pro really late. Like I was 25 when I got into pro.
Mm.
But like being around certain areas and having like certain players around you, that definitely helps, for sure. And it's not really something you can control unless you want to go move to. I always tell people either Texas or Southern California is kind of coming up again. New England, I mean, we had a pro team for a while, 187 crew, but I just wasn't in that crowd. So I never really got the chance there. And I had to travel to New York to play semi-pro. So what does it take? It takes a lot of hard work and dedication and missing birthdays and friends. I don't really have many friends like locally anymore, because I've over the years missed all the party invitations, and then they stop inviting you and stuff. I mean, of course I can rekindle that relationship, but I'm also like, I spend every day working and then going to the gym and drilling. Yeah, and if I'm ever home, I'm at the gym or drilling with my new Field 1 paintball gun.
Dude, I saw you at ICPL Tampa, out on the town field, little hut field, not huts, but those they're like little houses. I saw you out there doing drills. And everyone's watching games. So I know you're working your ass off. I
didn't like my performance, so I need to go do some drills. I mean, it was the first day. We didn't, what do you play, 5 games the first day? I didn't feel like I got a workout in. I think we won every game, or we maybe lost one game. But yeah, I felt like I needed to put some snapping and some drills in. So I shot like a case of paint out on the field. Yeah. I think the other thing, to answer your question, like, it takes a lot of like self-discipline, because
there it is.
There's no structure. It's not like, your town league of baseball, or like, high school football, where there's like a coach and like, a locker room, and like people are going to like kind of be on you, right? If you're slacking off. It's all up to you. So you kind of have to be like a loner in that regard. And that's not always the case. There's plenty of teams that, came up together, like Dynasty, for example, or CFP, or 187 was together. The Hurricane. There's plenty of examples, but a lot of it's kind of a hodgepodge of talent that all individually rose and then formed together. So yeah, you have to be super self-driven, and like, I make up all my own drills. I make up. I make targets in my backyard. I bought scuba tanks so I can fill my tank, so I don't have to go to drive anywhere.
Where do you feel the scuba tanks?
Just a place down there. Yeah. I mean, I drive to fill the scuba tanks, but
Yeah,
that's only once every few weeks.
gotcha.
Um,
Well, I
and
ask because I need air here in Tennessee. Like, there's nowhere to get air, but scuba tanks is a good idea, but I don't know where to get them filled in Tennessee.
fire safety places or scuba diving shops. But fire safety is good.
Fire safety, got it.
Fire repair, fire safety repair things, because those are all
Cool.
yeah. That's actually where I go, fire safety place. Yeah, self motivation I think is the biggest one. There are programs, and
Awesome.
there's the programs are getting better and better. Like, I mean, like access to clinics and stuff like that was
Yeah,
never a thing growing up. When, like, even just access to pros, like I don't even think I saw a pro until I was like, you know, like I don't even know how old I was. But just I think until my first like season of X Ball, until I like even saw like, well, that's a pro over there. Um, so I think it was Ryan Moorhead was the first pro I probably saw, or one of the Hurricane guys.
right
Um,
on. Well, Harrison, what would you say that you're most thankful for that you've got from paintball?
ooh, there's so many. Beyond all the stories and the adventures and like the friends. I mean, there's so many of those, and um, I'm not trying to downplay that at all, but I think like personally, it does so much for you because you have to mature very quickly, and like um, for me too, like as a kid, I was hanging around the older guys at the paintball field, and I just means you get into some bad things too earlier on, but you
Sure.
mature a lot quicker, just because you're hanging out with the older guys. Um, and then like just I mean just the drive, like being the top echelon of anything, like whether it's chess or tennis or like whatever it is, business, whatever, like that is a very like kind of it takes a lot of work, and it takes a lot of like understanding of like when I if I ever met the best chess player in the world, I don't know who it is, I would understand immediately, like, okay, I know exactly what you did to like get here, not like the
Magnus
drills that you did,
Carlsen is his name.
yeah, I don't know him, and I don't know that much about chess. I think I'm pretty good at chess, but I know what he did and how much work he did to get to this place, and I totally respect that. Um, so like knowing that is like it's pretty cool. And when I watch other sports, I can I can tell like also what the amount of work they put in. Um, yeah,
So you're thankful for the work that it's forced you to do to get to the top.
I didn't really answer your question.
Is that it? Did I get it right?
Um, yeah, I mean, I'm thankful for what it's taught me. Yeah, in
There we
terms of
go.
like life and like what I've had to do to battle and a lot of mental tenacity as well.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, Harrison, dude, thank you so much for your time here. Is there anything that you'd like to part with for the paintball community?
Um, I mean, I gave a lot out here. I think just stay true to yourself. Go on adventures. There's always an alleyway you can walk down. There's always something cool to go check out. Don't just sit in your room. Um, and yeah, thank you for all my sponsors, for everyone that's helped get me here. Um, and stay true to yourself, and follow Harrison Frye Ventures on Instagram.
Awesome. Thanks, Harrison.
Cool.